Good afternoon and welcome to PLZ Soccer. I'm joined by Alan Ruff and Scott Allen with a focus now on this evening's clash in Athens between Panathinaikos and Rangers. Scott, how do Rangers approach this one with a 2-0 lead from the first leg?
Listen, I think for me, obviously seeing the first half of the first leg, I think there's going to be times where Rangers are going to have to suffer, they're going to have to ride out, they're going to have to defend to a man to obviously keep Panathinaikos at bay. But I think for me, the important thing is what the team selection is going to be. Obviously, we're all intrigued to see what he's going to do. Is he going to start Gassama? For me, if I was Russell Martin, I think he might have that in the back of his mind when they do obviously turn the ball over. Do they have pace where they can put it into the area and get Rangers up the park? If not, there could be periods of the game where there's going to be a lot of defending for Rangers.
2-0, Ruffy's an awkward lead, you know, if you get the first goal or if Panathinaikos score the first goal.
Well, it's certainly better than 1-0. You know, I think it's the old first goal counts. You know, you would like to think if Rangers got the first goal, it'd be done and dusted. If they get the first goal, home territory, place will be bouncing. That's why, you know, Scott's saying they'll have to dig in at a particular time. But let's hope that Rangers get the first goal. And consider the pedigree they've had away from home in Europe has been absolutely excellent. They've just went to away games, and when everybody thought it wasn't going to happen, they've come through, whether they got a wee break here or there. But it's going to be a great atmosphere.
All the indication from Russell Martin was that he'll go out to win it. You know, you're not going to protect the lead that they've got. Is that the only way you think you can go and approach a game like that?
Yeah, I think you still got to be cautious within there, though. I think if you're looking at Russell Martin, if you obviously look at your Southampton team, they played out every single time. I think going away, obviously with the 2-0 lead, there's times where they're going to have to kick long at times. They're going to have to, obviously, yes, they want to win the game, but they don't need to win the game straight away. Whereas Panathinaikos need to come at them, and that's where I think Rangers on the counter attack. If you see that side of them, they will cause problems like they did in the first leg.
Heat is obviously going to be a factor this evening. Does that come down then to wanting to just keep the ball, minimise the amount of running that you're having to do, the amount of movement that you've got to do, and just really trying to control the game, Ruffy?
Yeah, I think Scott's right. I think the team selection will be important. You've got to have people who are comfortable on the ball. You've got to have people who are going to, when they get the ball, they're going to slow the tempo down when needed, you know, pick a pass, you know, when needed. But I just think that they've got players in there with lots of experience. So I think the heat obviously will affect you, you know, playing in that kind of heat. But I think in the modern day, I think the boys should be fit enough to do it.
Who would your starting 11? Who would you tend to go with?
I would start Gassama instead of Dill, like I said, just for giving Rangers that outlet. If they do need to turn it down the channel, he's got that pace. We've obviously seen the threat that he caused.
Offered a bit of excitement when he came on.
Yeah, but I just think at that level, I think speed kills at times. I think for me, I would bring Dessers in. I think there's going to be times where the ball's you're going to need someone to hold it up. For me, I feel he holds the ball up better than Danilo. So he could play an important role in terms of taking the ball in, buying fouls when he can, allowing Rangers to obviously take their time and obviously give them that chance of the set piece threat. So selection's going to be really interesting tonight, and listen, I think depending on who starts could have a real impact on the game.
I think Jack Buckland's going to be a big player. You know, we saw that.
Really good first.
We saw that in the first half. It's incredible, you know. Written out it, you know, we need a new goalkeeper. We need somebody coming in at the end of the season, you know, in a couple of good games, you know, gets him back in there. Confidence high. He will have to make 2 or 3 really important saves at the right time, and he's proved that he can do that in Europe.
You've been impressed by the young boy, Finlay Curtis?
Yeah, I have. Listen, I think it's something that's been spoke about quite broadly in terms of our own game here. The lack of young players obviously coming through all the clubs in the Premiership, but he's one who's obviously plays in the front foot, get real pace. He's obviously got the physical attributes that Russell Martin wants for his team, so he can do the work back the pitch as well. But I just like the directness of him in the second half. I think if you look at his first half, he wasn't fantastic. There was a lot of bad decisions made, but the fact he could come out and he overcame the challenges and, let's say, grabs the first goal, I think that shows a lot about his character. So he could have an impact in the game also.
Confident, obviously, as well. A couple of goals in pre-season and that big goal at Ibrox. You went the game with a confident frame of mind, and Rangers as a whole maybe going in feeling on the front foot, knowing that they're guaranteed some kind of European football so long as they come through this tie.
Yeah, the good thing about it is at least the manager knows now he's got a young boy, you know, starting or coming off the bench, can impact the game. You know, the young boy will be really desperate to, you know, prove a point to the more experienced players that he can do it at that level.
Brilliant. Well, don't forget to join us later on. We'll have all the reaction from that game out in Athens, and we'll bring you Russell Martin's thoughts on the aftermath of that game this evening.